You're listening to the 40 Thrive Podcast, the show created for women 40 and beyond, ready to shake things up. And now, your host, Jackie McDougall.
Welcome back to another episode of 40 Thrive. Have you ever met a woman, or maybe you are her, someone who loves yoga? It's her happy place. But in addition to feeling grounded, centered, balanced, she's also got killer arms and shoulders. You could just see that lean muscle. She just looks amazing and strong. Now imagine the same results when you do face yoga. Yes, face yoga. The team at Face Yoga Method reached out to me a while back and introduced me to this phenomenon. Led by founder Fumiko Takatsu, Face Yoga Method is an all-natural practice that consists of non-invasive facial exercises that tone facial muscles, improve complexion, and smooth wrinkles. Yes. Face Yoga Method is so much more than just a powerful way to decrease lines and wrinkles. Although it does do that, just check out those before and afters on their website. But it's a holistic approach to mind, body, spirit, and it boasts side effects like amazing posture and more self-confidence. Yes, please. I will admit I was skeptical. Totally skeptical. But take a listen to my interview with Fumiko and it's like, duh, of course, she's really onto something here. And they're having a big sale over at Face Yoga Method, including their flagship 6-week face toning bootcamp that can take 10 years off your face. Yeah, 10 years off your face. I am so in. You will get a full face and neck transformation in less than 2 months. I've linked to the program in the show notes, so be sure to check it out. And maybe you're interested in checking out the Face Yoga Method, but not ready to join the program. That's cool. Join Fumiko and me live on Friday, October 16th at 2:30 p.m. Pacific time. That's 5:30 p.m. Eastern. She's going to walk us through a couple of poses to help us jumpstart the process. There's a link in the show notes here, but it's in our free and private Facebook group that you're probably already a member of. So check it out. Fumiko, the founder and CEO of the Face Yoga Method, brings 15 years of practice and personal experience into this revolutionary pro-aging method that has been impacting thousands of lives, hers included. We will hear her personal story in just a minute. Before we get into our chat, did you know that 40 Thrive has been heard in 107 countries? Dude, 107 countries. Thank you. So it's only fitting to reach outside the US to feature this week's review. Mel W. from our neighbor up north, Canada. Mel writes, "Thank you, Jackie, for being the voice for all of us on the 40 Thrive podcast. I truly admire you and everything you've done throughout your career and on. Just when I was ready to close the door on podcasts for me, over 40 mom, I found you just in time. Thank you for making me feel normal, valuable, and heard." Thank you so much, Mel. I really appreciate you taking the time to write out the review. It means so much to me. And don't forget, if you head on over to your favorite podcast app and leave a review, I may share it here. Okay, let's dive into my conversation with Face Yoga Method founder, Fumiko Takatsu. Fumiko, welcome to 40 Thrive.
Thank you so much, Jackie, for having me here. I'm very excited.
I am thrilled. You have taken on the world by storm with the Face Yoga Method. Like, I've seen it a few years back. I saw it and it was like, oh, that looks interesting. But now that I'm approaching 50, I'm like, can you teach me all the things, please? But take us back. How did you discover this method?
Okay. Well, I'm originally from Japan. And when I was 36 years old, I remember exactly July 30th, I got in a car accident when I was vacationing here in the United States in California. And I'm so lucky that I'm still alive, but trauma of the accident really made my body and the face out of alignment. And I was told at the ER emergency room that I was lucky to be alive. I could have been dead right there on the spot. So, age 36, I started also seeing a sign of aging, and I tried all kinds of things, not the procedures, but I had the facials and the creams and all the things I could think of. And then I got almost stressed and depressed because mid-30s and I was spending so much money and time, and I was seeing some changes, but it was temporary. And my body was very fit. I've been doing, body yoga for a long time, but my face and the body, I felt like there's no connection. My face is getting so much older than my body. And one day I thought, wait a minute, the face has a muscle. So why not exercise face muscle just like a body and get toned and glowing and energy back to my face? And that was the beginning of my journey. So almost 17 years ago. I'm going to be 52 this year, and never, back to the time I was struggling. I'm so happy that I found this exercise, not just exercise, but it's a lifestyle, because face yoga method, we talk about the mindset. We talk about, having a good posture and a healthy lifestyle, how to sleep and how to drink water and self-care. Because I believe that women, especially when we are busy, we don't really take care of ourselves. And that really shows on our face and shows on our body as a stress. And when you change that mindset, it really started shifting your life. And I called it face yoga method, change your face and change your life.
Wow. That's what I really love about it when I started doing a little research was this is not, so my podcast is not about let's look like we're 25 years old. Let's not pretend that we're not in our 50s or 40s or 60s, wherever, but let's really embrace who we are and where we are and be the best version.
Exactly. Yes.
And that's what your company is doing. It's a holistic approach. It's not just like, don't get me wrong. I have this like what I jokingly call my Harry Potter scar, where some people have the 11s. I just have the one.
Right.
And I love that you have methods to help with things like that. Mm-hmm. But it's more of really a movement to honor ourselves and our bodies and our faces, because I see a lot. And this is not a judgment on anybody. I have tried Botox before. Mm-hmm. I've tried other things. But I find that we're trying to hide something.
Right.
And not embrace it.
Exactly. And that's when, people say, oh, my life is changing. And not because they're putting more foundation or concealers or getting less wrinkle, but they feel so much empowered because they feel like, wow, I'm at the place that no matter how old they are, we have students in the 80s and the young one is in a teenager still, but they feel like they can do it. They can change and do something instead of like letting society define them. And I think that's something exactly you said that, the feeling of empowerment and feeling of in control of own life and be the best version of ourselves. And I like that, people getting that idea. It's okay. How old you are, how young you are, you're still beautiful. Yeah.
How has this brand changed for you over the 17 years?
Oh, it's an interesting question because I was teaching at the university, one of the oldest women's universities in Japan, and it was a prestigious job. And I have a master's degree in cultural anthropology. So when I started this exercise, people started like laughing at me, oh, you're making funny faces. And I started doing TV shows and people made fun of me, laughing at me almost like, look at her, funny face person. And it didn't stop me because I started seeing some changes, but also start feeling different. Like, whoa, I feel different. I feel like I'm not a victim anymore. And my parents, for the longest time, they didn't like my job as a face yoga method teacher because they wanted me to stay teaching at the university because that's a very prestigious and also, very stable job. And like, why are you leaving the job? But I knew it like, no, I want to just try this because my heart is in it.
This is amazing because I see women all the time who want to try things that look like maybe that's crazy, quote unquote crazy, And so how did you stay the course and how long did it take you before you started to sort of see the benefits like, oh, maybe I am onto something?
The length of time, I think the first time I felt like, whoa, I'm onto something was when I was able to move my facial muscles the way I wanted to move, like this.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So that was like, whoa, I can move my face muscles the way I want to
You couldn't do that
move.
before?
No,
Okay, I can't wait
no.
to I'm going to link to the video in the show notes so anybody who's listening to just the audio can see
Yeah.
what you just did.
Yeah. Well, move my ears. I go, whoa, I can move.
Wait, you can move your ears too?
Yeah.
Wow, and you couldn't do that before?
No. There's no like, okay, whoa, the face, yes, muscle, but I didn't understand that face has so many muscles.
Yeah.
Right? Many people think, oh, my cheeks are getting saggier. Yes, there's so many muscles on the face. And when I started analyzing all the facial muscles, I was so fascinated. So almost like it didn't matter if people really got it or not. I just wanted to just do some more research and find out. It's just personal curiosity and intuition. Yeah.
Right. Well, personal curiosity is like one of my favorite things in the world. But the fact is that you had a prestigious job that was probably lucrative and it was stable and all of those things. But what kind of advice would you give to somebody who may have all this background, all this education and experience, but they want to try something that's completely what others might think is outrageous?
Right. I really, really want people listen to their heart. Means almost go back to the age when they're 5 or 6 years old. What was the dream they had, or you had? For me, I wanted to explore. I was so curious. I wanted to learn. And it's not like learning from school, but just learn whatever I had interest. Self-development was a big thing. Even when I was 6 years old, I was questioning, like, what I want to be when I get bigger or older or grown up. And stable job, it was great, but very deep inside of my heart, I was getting bored. Like, is this it? Is this my life? Almost I could predict what would be like 10 years from there or 20 years from there. Like, oh, it's going to be same thing over and over. But I was so afraid of looking at that boredom or listening to my teeny tiny voice. And the accident probably just really pushed me out of the comfort zone because I could have been dead there. And if I have only one life, which, with this body, do I want to keep doing what I was feeling a little boredom or just want to do what I wanted to try? And life is so short. And yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I love it. So now let's just talk about the challenges of the face. Especially we're doing more telecommuting and specifically video conferencing. And that, some of us, I've been working out, but I'm like, oh, I haven't been working out my face. What are some of the things that women are coming to you for?
Mainly they say, ooh, the droopy eyelid or 11 line or Harry Potter line or horizontal line or double chin. So that's, the physical issues they have, they come to us. And that was the first step. And then eventually they start understanding, wait a minute, I want to be happy. And having extra line or wrinkle on their face, it doesn't make them unhappy. Like how they define the happiness make them happy. So they started going to next step, like, okay, I want to change my mindset. I want to change lifestyle. And then they go to next level. Like, I want to be a teacher, for example. I want to help other people who are in the same situation they are. And that's how they evolve as they go through the, our program. But basically, 11 lines is a big thing, or horizontal line on the forehead.
Yes.
And eyelid and then droopiness. Yeah.
And so how often do you do the yoga method? Every day?
I do every day.
You do?
Yeah. But start with my day in bed, right? So when I wake up, half awake, half asleep, I started just, doing some exercises and finding some spots if I have a tightness. And then, why I have a tightness? Oh, because I was sitting in front of a computer for a long time. And because I did this and that. So I'm having a conversation with myself in the morning in bed. And then I do some exercises like, I need to release tension from my neck and start my day. So when people say, every day it's a lot, but it's not a lot. And when you're in the bathroom, you want to do a little bit neck movement and tone the neck area.
And do you find with, the place that we're in, and we weren't even here 10 years ago, but with our phones, I notice sometimes I'm like, constantly looking at my phone that I want someone to invent something where my phone's up above me.
That is such a wonderful, wonderful awareness too. I want to tell you because, you can see, I'm going to show you, everything is connected head to toe, right? So when you are carrying a phone or looking down, which happens to many of us, like here, it's only 10 to 12 pounds. But if you're looking down, so this is kind of people, 30 degree, 45 degree, 40 pounds to 49 pounds. It's a lot of weight on a body. And
that's
then
how much
happened,
weight you're putting on the back
yes,
there?
right here.
Oh.
Yeah, the tension. And then what happened is when you're looking down, you're tightening not just the neck, but entire body, lower back all the way. And then as a result, what you're doing is you're creating double chin. And not only that, you're sending a message to your brain that you're not happy, because you don't see people who are very happy and excited in having this posture, right?
Right.
And you don't see people who are so depressed, like, I'm so depressed. I'm so depressed. It's almost impossible.
Right. By being in that physical position,
Yeah.
you're sending mentally to your brain
Exactly.
that you feel that way as well.
Yes. So I don't know which is, egg or chicken, but when you change your posture, you're really changing the chemistry in your body that, oh, I don't know why, but I feel good, because you have the happy posture.
Right. So I was having coffee with a friend one day, and she knows I've worked in television. I've worked with some, pretty big celebrities in my career. And I mentioned that you were going to be on the podcast, and you would have thought that it was Oprah. I mean, she absolutely loves everything that you have to offer. And then I started asking other people, and they're like, oh my gosh, you're going to talk to her on the podcast. So what kind of response have you gotten from women specifically to everything you're doing?
Wow. Well, first, I'm just blown away. I'm so honored.
It's true.
Like we have people from all over the world because we have online program, but sometimes when I look the least attractive to my eyes, like, I don't want to see anybody. I go to a store, or sometimes I go to the store, buy all the, little something like a paper bag or something. And then people say, oh, you're the face person. Like, oh, please don't look at me right now. I don't look good.
See, that's when masks come in handy, right? So people don't recognize you.
Right. Yeah. But so that's quite interesting. But I think people really, maybe because I'm not young, I'm not, 20s, I'm not 30s, and I'm not even 40s, I'm 52. So they see probably me as somebody they can relate to, even though I'm from Japan, because I don't usually dress up beautifully, and I have sweats and baseball cap, and and I love to talk about not just the face exercises, but what's happening in my life, or sometimes my struggles, even insecurities, being in front of people, but English is not my first language, and all that. I think that probably people feel more connected to me. So
yeah. I love that you just said that, because there are women who listen to this podcast and who are in the community who maybe feel, because I have conversations with them all the time, maybe feel less than they used to, or they compare themselves to a younger version of themselves. And not only did you find a career and a passion, something that really means something to you, I don't think you would be getting the response that you're getting if you were 32. It's because you've had life lessons. It's because you've faced adversity. It's because you see beauty and health as a holistic approach, and that you've lived it. I believe that people are connecting to you.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I now remember when I was starting this face yoga in Japan, I was only 36 or 37. So I could not wait until I hit 40. Because people thought like, oh, 36, you're still young. And also many people used to say, oh, you're Asian, you don't get, old. But yes, when I get 50, that's when I think finally like, okay, my time. I'm not 40s. Yeah.
And now they're listening.
Yeah. So it's good. I don't want to be back to my 20s because I didn't know much about life.
So true. So true. So you mentioned your heritage. Do you find that the yoga methods that you teach, the face yoga methods, are universal across different skin types and backgrounds.
Very, very much so. I'm so grateful for this technology because of this, I can share the message with people all over the world. We have 35 teachers, I think at least 150 countries. And I stopped counting after 150. And also our members are from all over the world. Because of my background, I'm not native English speaker, and many of them are not. And because I've seen so many cultural differences from my cultural anthropology background, that, skin type and the lifestyle and language, even the way you use your facial muscles when you speak certain languages, it changes the way you use your facial muscles. And very interesting. So I talk about that too, so that people feel it's okay to be different and then still get the result, because everybody has a face muscles. Everybody moves the face muscles, but you just need to know how you're moving your face muscles if you want to get the result.
Right. And if you could teach one method that you use that is universal that everybody could benefit from, what would that be?
Okay, so the first one is, well, there's two things. Can I share two things then?
Yes, please.
Yeah, the posture is so important. Posture, because like I said, if you are happy, you have a certain posture, and you need to have a line. You need to sit nice and tall, stand nice and tall, because if you have rounded shoulder, if you're looking down, your brain senses that you're not happy. So I would say, think about, you have a one line, the top of your head and center of your forehead, and then the tip of your nose, and then peak of your lips, and then chin, and where collarbones meet, and sternum, and the belly button, and your head is resting on top of your spine. So having this posture and do the poses, even just having this posture walk around, it makes you feel so different. And then the pose, we're going to do the pose. So one pose I want to share with you is, because many of us have a tightness in the neck area, especially right now, right? So we are going to nicely tone the neck area and get rid of double chin. So keep the posture, which is important, and sit nice and tall, and put a hand on your chest so that you can stabilize the posture. Okay, breathe in and out from your nose, shoulder blades down, chest open, heart open. Breathe in from your nose and move your chin to the right, 45-degree angle. Okay, and now pucker your mouth as if you're kissing somebody. Good, wonderful. Yes, Jackie, good. Do you feel a sensation on the side of the neck?
I do.
Good, okay. Back to the center. And turn your head to the other side, 45-degree angle. Ooh, and keep that posture. I call it swan neck. And this really release the tension from the neck and prevent or reduce the double chin. So every time you go bathroom, and people say, I don't have a time, but everybody goes to bathroom. That's the most private place, right? So when you go bathroom, just look up and then move that stretch. And that is really, really good pose. And I highly recommend everybody to try that instead of looking down.
Yeah. And I can't say enough the idea that, yes, it decreases the double chin, which is yay. But it also makes you feel better.
Yes.
And in this time right now, we're also sitting at a computer and our shoulders are hunched and all of that. And you can absolutely feel and look your best, even today.
Yes, it can change like instantly. Yes.
Yeah, so it's amazing. So when you came up with this idea, what kind of people did you partner with people, or did you just kind of do all the research yourself, or how did that look?
I started experimenting using my own face muscles, like trying to move and isolate, because people said, I don't want to move my face muscle because that can cause wrinkles. Like, wait a minute, if I isolate, I can just tone that muscle I like to get the result from exercising. So I was doing that, and then I wanted to get some scientific data. So I went to the research institute and asked them to take a thermographic imaging camera, picture, because I wanted to see what's happening. I love to get a scientific data. So they did the thermographic imaging photo sessions, and amazingly, doing one pose for 30 seconds, it improved the circulation, entire face, like completely red. I was just blown away. I wasn't quite sure, like, okay, but 30 seconds. So that was a data. And then I even went to the university. I found the professor. I could ask any questions I wanted to ask. I became friends with him, and I've been asking me, what do you think of this? What the inference you get from doing this pose or that pose? And he always gives me the information. And also I'm doing more research and definitely taking more workshops and just combine all the things I can, think of and apply to this practice, because it's a holistic approach. And I don't want to just move muscles, face. No, there's more connection in the body and how you carry yourself.
Thank you so much for sharing it with me and with my audience. And what I love, like I said, I cannot say enough, is that, we think we want to look better, and we do, but there's so much more to it. And to improve our lives,
ultimately, all of us want to be happy, right? So to be happy doesn't mean that we have to cover ourselves or our face with something, but just shine from inside. I have a neighbor, Fran. She's 101 and 7 months, and she's just so beautiful. Her face, of course, lots of wrinkles, 101. Right. But when she smiles and just lighten up the entire room, and she's such a happy person because of the personality. People like to, we can't go visit now because of COVID, but people just like to share time with her because of the energy she gives off and happiness she share with other people.
Right.
So she's a happy person, and we can be like that. That's my goal, to be like that.
Absolutely. It's beautiful. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate your coming on. Like I said, if you would be interested to come into the group and teach the ladies a couple of poses, it's the perfect audience for you. But I just appreciate everything you're doing. And I'm going to link to your book in the show notes, as well as your programs. You have online programs. Mm-hmm. You also train teachers to teach for you?
I've been training teachers from all over the world. We have almost 800 teachers. Yeah, they're getting trained in the different languages. Well, I speak English, but they're just spreading the message to their countries in different languages. So if you want to really go deep in understanding what's face yoga method is, they can be a teacher.
What kind of background do they have to become a teacher?
Just passion and the trust and just that dream. And they just have to keep that. And motivation, I'll keep them busy, but they have to trust themselves, and they have to really believe in themselves. And otherwise, just like anything else, you just touch it and you don't fall through it. You have to just follow that vision.
Yeah, I love it. Well, thank you so much, Fumiko, for being on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening. Share this episode with a friend, and be sure to hit subscribe, follow, or favorite on the podcast app of your choice so you don't miss an episode. Also, join us in our 40 Thrive free and private Facebook group to get that live teaching by Fumiko. It is going to be so fun. Until next time, take care and keep thriving.